Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 3 of our continuous deployment course. In this chapter, we are going to be seeing how we can set up our release pipeline. In the earlier chapters, I showed you how we created our web app and how we set up our build pipeline. So I'll be sharing my screen now. I'll be sharing my screen right now. Just give me a moment. Yeah, I'll be sharing my screen. And here we go. Yeah, so I believe my screen is visible now. So over here, you can see that we have a successful build pipeline over here. So now we want to set up our deployment now. So I clicked on release, and one thing I will say is that for this particular lab, I wouldn't be showing the part where I set up the service principal, because my subscription ID and the likes will be visible. And I don't want that. I trust human beings, but I don't want to take the risk for this particular account. So let me call this development. So these stages are just like environments. Yeah, so let me add my artifacts, which is what we got from our build pipeline. So I want the latest version, and here we go. Then let me set up the jobs so this is where things get interesting. So I do not the Azure account that we use to host our web app is quite different from this DevOps account. This is my personal email, but the one that we use for the Azure account is not my personal, it's like an organizational partner email address. So we can't connect it automatically. So I needed to did some app registration, follow some service principal, and essentially this was what I used. This was the documentation I used. And once you follow this step, you are going to get to where I got to. I'll be providing this link to the description. In the description, a wonderful material by Clyde De Souza. It was published in 2020, but I can assure you that it still works accurately even today in 2023. So the moment I opened this, initially I didn't want to do this because one of my old subscription will be visible, the subscription ID, but as I said earlier on, I trust human beings, so I would open it. I know I can mask it, but I don't have time for that. So I'm going to choose this. So this is the service principal I created on Azure. Then the app type, it's a Linux, it's on Linux. The app name is, if you can remember, the app service name was Frankly.io. Then the startup command, since we are deploying to slots, we can leave this. Then the resource group is also Frankly.io. Then we choose the slots. This is for dev. Yeah. So we are good with this. So I can save. Let me change this. I can save this. I can save this. I can save this. I can save this. Yeah. So because we are deploying to the app service environments, we don't need this over here. I don't want to manage it here. to be managed on the Azure portal. So I can remove this. Yes, I can remove this. Yes, I think everything looks good. Everything looks good. So I can save this. Everything looks good. So I can go back to pipeline. I want to clone this for our production environment. So I'll call this production. All this production, then also I want to set this up. So I'm going to check this because I'm not deploying to slots right now. This is the final destination. So I think this is fine. So I can save. I also want to show us how I went about creating just a brief summary on the steps for the to set up the service principal, the app registration. So let me stop sharing, then I will share. Let me share my other screen. Let me just confirm that the page that will be opened is a safe page. Yeah. So all you essentially need to do is you go to app registration. Then this is the app registration that was created already. So we have this. So this is the app registration. This is the name, and these are some of the details that was used to set it up. So what you need to do is you also need to create a secret for it. This is the secret, which I've been created earlier. So that's essentially what you need to do. So let me stop sharing. I just want you to see this page. So I went to the Azure AD, that's Entra ID. Then I went to app registration. So by following this documentation, you are going to see all the steps that you need to follow. And yeah, so we are good. So let me stop sharing. And I'll go back to my then I will go back to my to the previous page just to be sure that everything is going on well. Yeah. So what we are going to be doing now is, let me reshare. Yeah. So I think everything is fine. So we already have the setup. So if I wanted to add some kind of approval, pre-deployment approval, I can enable it. If I want to add some kind of gates, I can also do that here. Or if I want to do some scheduling, pull request deployment, I can do them. But I do not want to do any of that for now. So I think I can create my release. I think I can create my release. So one thing I want to do is this continuous deployment rig. I can enable it so that anytime there's a change in my GitHub, it will automatically create a release. So I can enable this. So that's was continuous deployment, not just continuous delivery. I can enable this, but if I want to add some kind of gates, then I wouldn't need to do that. Yeah, so this is good. I can enable it here. So I should disable this. Okay, so it's fine. Let's just leave this. Let's just see that our release turn out well, and after that we'll see how it goes. Let's create a release. Hopefully it would be a success. So we can see it's in the development environment now. Yeah, so it's gonna take a while. Trying to get something. Yeah, this is what I want. I prefer this view. So hopefully there wouldn't be any issue. So what we have now, our code in GitHub, it's trying to connect with that. Then we have our server also on Azure. So if the deployment is successful in production, then with that, then we can then refresh our production app service, and we'll see that what we have in our GitHub will be reflected there. Yeah, so I think what I will do is I'm going to stop this video, then um I would create another video when it's done, because it can take a while before this will be completed.